Hey, it's me, Tarek here, and today I am going to be taking you through a very complex tour of a very complex place called the environment. Environment is very complex, and us human beings and other life that occupy an environment are also very complex. I mean, look at us human beings. We have a whole entire body that is super complex, that is made out of trillions of cells, so many different organ systems that are literally keeping us alive and doing things every single second just to make sure we can continue to live. And literally the environment is also so complex because the environment needs to support us very complex human beings and other life as well. Now, in order to truly understand this complicated place, I will try to simplify it as much as I can. Today, I am going to be taking you through the tour of our environment, just some basic terms to help you understand how our environment works. So our environment, where we are currently, starts in the biosphere. The biosphere basically means the narrow zone of Earth where life occupies. So the biosphere is made out of life. Basically, this is where all of us, every plant, every animal, every human being occupies. The biosphere is the most important place on Earth because that's where we currently are right now, and that's where every single life form is. The biosphere is also divided into three different sections. We have the hydrosphere, which is probably the main and the biggest section of the entire biosphere, and hydro means water. So basically, hydrosphere means water, the section of the biosphere where water occupies. So water, like our oceans, like our lakes, like our swamps, is part of the hydrosphere. And the hydrosphere has a lot of life, like fish, frogs, different kinds of life forms exist in the hydrosphere. And the hydrosphere is one of the most important components for every other part of the biosphere. Everyone needs water, including us. We need water, and we get our water from the hydrosphere. So the hydrosphere is a very important place. It's a very big place, like water occupies most of our planet. Most of our planet is made out of water. And we need water in order to live. The next component is the Lithiosphere. Now, the L in the Lithiosphere means land. That's what the L in the Lithiosphere is for. So the Lithiosphere is where we are currently, where I am right now. I am living in the Lithiosphere. The Lithiosphere is where most of life harbors. Most of life harbors the Lithiosphere. Sorry, it's pretty hard to pronounce. And the Lithiosphere is a pretty amazing place. And now finally, we have one of also the biggest components of our planet, the final part of the biosphere, and that is called the atmosphere. Now the atmosphere, most of life doesn't really occupy the atmosphere, but the atmosphere is the most essential component for life. Just like the hydrosphere is very important, the atmosphere is also very important to us. The hydrosphere has a very important component, which is water, and the atmosphere has very important components like oxygen, carbon dioxide, phosphorus, nitrogen. They all come from the atmosphere. And the atmosphere basically gets these components to us, and plants and other kinds of roots take the nitrogen, take the oxygen, and convert it into more usable forms in order for us to truly use it. And our environment, like Earth, is always going through changes. Like, we've been through a lot of changes ever since humans were around. We've been through the Ice Age, we've been through lots of different kinds of changes, and the Earth always has to try to maintain a state of dynamic equilibrium in order to maintain these changes. Now that you know about the biosphere and the three different components, which are very important to us, we also have two main components that occupy the biosphere as well. We also have the biotic components, and we also have the abiotic components. Now, bio is a Greek word for life. Anytime someone says bio or a word has bio, that means it's talking about life. Like biology is the study of life, or biodiversity is how much life occupies Earth. Basically, biotic factors mean living factors of Earth, like us, or animals, or plants, or anything that's basically alive. And then abiotic factors is the complete opposite. So whenever there's an A in front of something, it's usually the complete opposite. Abiotic is non-living components. And in order for us to survive, we have to interact with non-living components. And these non-living components are water, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, the weather, rocks, our homes. Like, these abiotic factors are very important for our survival. For us as a species, in order to continue living in a complex environment, we have to interact with the abiotic factors, and as well as other biotic factors like other human beings, other plants, other animals, in order to continue going. Again, this environment is always changing, and it's a very complex place, so we need to also change as well in order to adapt and survive all these environmental changes. And it's very important to learn about the environment. Now, the environment is way more complex than what I'm saying here. There's more to what I'm saying, but this is just a basic understanding about how the environment works. How the environment works, how all the components interact. Like, you can see that every component that I just talked about is very similar in some way. They're all trying to maintain a state of balance. Even our body is just like our own little internal environment. Like, we're made out of trillions of cells, and we also have so many different organ systems keeping us alive. Just like the environment has so many different factors in order to keep itself in dynamic equilibrium. And that is just a really quick summary of our environment. Obviously, there is so much that goes into the environment. Like, it's a very complex place, and it has a lot of different processes that obviously goes to make these things possible, like the weather, oxygen, nitrogen. The environment is always going to be a very complicated place, and we'll never truly understand how the environment works. As much as we have so much science and technology and knowledge today, we don't really know much about the environment. The environment is such a complicated place, and our home is also very complicated. And so are we. Us humans are very complicated as well. And I hope you at least got a somewhat simple summary about the environment, about us humans, about every component of the environment. And thanks for watching.